let me start. Okay, so why you need cybersecurity? Because I heard this community is a mixed community because this is not a generic workshop. It's exclusively for cryptography and cybersecurity because already Ashwini sir took completely on cryptographic base, right? He's a very strong mathematician who is all about working towards crypto part, right? So I hope you have enough knowledge on cryptography. I would like to know about cybersecurity. So why you need cybersecurity? What's the need for cybersecurity? Why you need cybersecurity? To protect data? Already you have a cryptography, right? You encrypt everything? Okay. Physical system. Even your hard disk can be encrypted. Your RAMs are now encrypted. No?
So a lot of what we do right now is on the online domain.
Okay.
And there are more attackers than ever. So you need to secure whatever you're using.
Okay, good, good.
We can encrypt hardware or anything, but we can't encrypt humans. Humans are also a part.
Okay.
When we interact, people can use humans themselves.
Okay. So he is finally putting a whole blame on us. What Darwin have proved, he is saying that it's completely false. Okay, that's correct. Okay, right? So whatever the mechanism, what we are incorporating, cryptographic, all the algorithms, whatever you stated, right? So whatever you stated, everything was completely right, and whatever you stated, so it's a perfect, right? So only 10% of security can be achieved by whatever the systems we have. Rest of the 90%, it's by ours. It's not a mistake with the technology, it's a mistake with the people, right? So, how many of you are here are gamers? How many of you play games frequently? 50-50. Huh? Okay. So, how many of you are using paid version of all your games which you are playing? Only 1, 2, 3. How about others? Then what do you do? Pirated, right? So, how many of you are using at least one pirated software in your machine? Please raise your hand. Hey, you want everything for free, you pirate everything, and finally you are concerned about your privacy and cybersecurity. So, we want to do everything, but you have to provide me with all cybersecurity, and again, no data should be lost. My photograph has to be on my desk, it should not go to internet, but I will share everything in public internet, right? So whatever you stated, what's your name, man? Yes, internet, right? So you can't assure a security in internet. That is very, very biggest and toughest task, right? Let us assume if it is a VIT, this perimeter can be secured. Wherever you go, your college has an infra for securing it. At the same time, you can sit in a coffee shop, right? Or you sit in some railway station. They never worry about your data. Why they want to deploy a firewall to filter out all the data? How can a coffee shop deploy a firewall, man? You know what is the average cost of a firewall? Now the current firewall standards are NG, next gen firewalls, NGFW, right? A decade ago, that means you know about the convention of a decade and all these things, right? It's 10 years ago. It's a UTM, Unified Threat Management, right? Again, if you go previously, in the yearly of 2000 to 2007-8, it's a packet filtering. It's just, those days firewalls are very easy to bypass. Those days firewalls are very easy to bypass. But the current day firewalls, it's not going to do anything completely related with your system or packet filtering. It completely analyzes the behavior of what a packet is capable of doing and what a packet is, right? So we'll be covering that as well, right? And if time permits, I will show you a short and quick demo of Sophos. Okay, Sophos firewall, and I can walk through, because I can't teach you a firewall fully, because for teaching you a firewall hardly I need 10 to 15 days for making you to understand every concept. But I can open the dashboard, I can walk you through what are the features and functionality available in the firewall and how the rules are getting updated, and all those things I'll try to cover, right? And the session, what and how I planned was, so today I'll be walking through with cybersecurity basics, and the basics goes with basic or some real-time demonstration. And for security concern, so I have updated my virtual machine with a proper IP tables with which my traffic will not move out of my VM. You got the point what I'm trying to say? Because I don't want anything to get suffered, which means whatever the attack which I am going to, this is a general disclaimer because session is also getting recorded, right? Usually when I take class, I'll go public, not a problem for me. But here I can't go public, right? So then it's an offensive action. I should not do that. So that's the reason yesterday night I completely updated my IP tables. IP tables is a firewall, indirect firewall of Linux variants, right? So whatever the traffic pretending to a particular IP address or a certain protocol, it will be dropped automatically, right? So this is what my plan of action, and then I'll also be covering you with all the sample attacks, and I'll try to run it in local, right? And a few attacks will work only on my VM. It won't go beyond my VM, right? So when you are seeing, the reflection will happen on my machine. At the same time, if you open the internet and if you visit the same site, because for example, I'm going to do a DDoS attack live, right? It will work on my VM, right? Once it is out of my VM, all the packets gets dropped. That's it, right? That's how the IP tables rules has been updated. So rest of, when you are opening it on your machine, it will be live only, which means there is no disruption from my side just by doing any of my action. Any of my action is not going to cause any harm. This is a general disclaimer, right? So, and other than this, what are the other things which I plan to cover is, I'll be covering cyber kill chain and mid-tray attack model, as well as I'll be also recommending a possible defenses, and then I'll also be covering vulnerability, patch and configuration management. In this, I'll be demonstrating you with a real-time tool which industries are using and practicing for a patch management. It is from 6 Sense, and I'll show you, this is completely involves a commercial, but since I am collaborating with the company, I have few login credentials. If you are really interested, I can share you the email IDs. You can try it on your own. A live vulnerability assessment and patch management, right? And I'll also be covering SIEM, and if time permits, I'll also be covering CTI, cyber threat intelligence as well, right? So yes, I think these topics are enough for me to cover this 2 days. If time permits, I'll cover EDR, XDR and MDR. Okay. So now let us start with today's session, right? So a session introduction to cybersecurity. Okay. So this is our Visu. During my introduction, Ashwini sir was telling about the humanoid, right? So this is Visu, and this is our next research on quadruped. So very similar to Boston Dynamics, we are also making an autonomous quadruped, and along with this, we are integrating with the metaverse and other things. So adding to this, we also have Vikrant, which is India's indigenous honeypot, built completely by VIT-AP. I think you have a better experience with that, right? Okay, so then I'm also a founder of Digital Fortress, a cybersecurity startup, and I am the author of these research articles, right? And so these are all my collaboration as well as the companies and the products which I am currently contributing to. So this is a general disclaimer. So if there is any inaccuracy, so I take full responsibility for that. It does not reflect to ACM or VIT Vellore or to my lab in my VIT AP, right? So a few of the entities which I am going to show you may be offensive. Our intention is not to build offensive tools, it's only for making the students understand how a malicious action will take place. It's not our intention to teach them in malicious side or in offensive side. We always operate only on defensive side. This is my general disclaimer. And few entities I am displaying are completely patented, and some of the demos are taken from public, and I am also using some of the tools which are available in public, and I am using completely Kali Linux for any of the attacks, and I also have a modified version of Ubuntu. And so all the images which I am using in my presentation are taken from internet. Few of the images, few of them are self-built, and maximum I acknowledged all the images. If there is no acknowledgement in any of the images, it's not my intention to leave the acknowledgement. So I take fully responsible, and I claim that the authors of the particular image, they owns the copyright. I am not owning any of the copyright to the material which I take from internet. This is a general disclaimer, right? So now I just want to share few things. Yesterday when I was in guest house, right? So I noticed that here they have a different set of security for Wi-Fi standards, right? So a typical example is most of the time in your home routers, what you do, you have basic authentication, right? WPA, initially it starts with web, right? So 2005 it was WEP when Wi-Fi was introduced to India. 2 minutes you can crack your password, literally. At the time Kali Linux was not Kali Linux. It was backtrack R1, R2, R3. Then they introduced Kali. So I am talking about 12 years old story, right? So web was introduced, and it uses a weakest algorithm called RC4. You can break it. Then they introduced WPA. Then they introduced PSK, and then they changed a different set of internal operational ciphers. That's how it went. And the current standard is about WPA3. They introduced WPA3 and they claim that no one can able to break it. That's what their claim is, right? So now, okay, that's fine. What happens if I go for single sign-on? You got my question? What happens if I go for single sign-on? Okay, let us assume. How many of you are from non-VIT? So if I ask who are from VIT, I can easily pick one and this kid. So these two kids are from VIT, and there are some kids from VIT AP also, right? So since it's a sister concern, I can drive a trust between my server and this server, and I can do a trust, and the relationship can also be derived, and the single sign-on can be exchanged as a independent object between one server to other server. That is possible. But when it comes for VIT to IIT Rupar or Bangalore, some university, or PSG Tech, right, or VR Siddhartha or SR Siddhartha, how can we trust them, right? So trust part is a question mark. The same thing is applicable for them also. If I ask them to give SSO by just deriving a trust with our server, no one is going to do it. It's not possible, right? So in that case, what's the option?
You trust a third entity that both of you trust, and then you tell them to.
That's what, again comes with the trust, right? So I won't trust you. You got the point, huh?
Something like zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge proof is too costly, man. Zero trust, zero knowledge proof are too costly. For a campus with 25,000 users, if you go for such kind of a thing, it's very, very difficult, right? And each and every entity of a firewall costs very higher. We have a firewall from FortiGate, right? It costs not 1L, 1 CR. Likewise, the firewall costs very higher. Firewall costs very higher, literally, right? So there are some few firewalls which you can find it in online, like OpenSense, PFSense. These things are intended for a small scale business, 10 or 12 users. That itself will cost around at least 1 lakh, 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh with the hardware. It's a bit difficult for you to deploy a firewall for medium, small scale enterprises. It's very, very difficult, right? So then, deriving a trust is also a big problem. No third party is going to agree for that. Then, the option is creating a standalone user specific to a particular time frame. For that, there is a provision in firewall. For that, there is a provision in firewall. That's the reason, whenever, if you notice VIT, any VIT, we have the same setup, including I think IIT, I visited few IITs. So there also they have a same setup. So mostly they won't authenticate when the user is trying to connect to the network. They allow them, anyone can connect to the network. Once after connecting, they'll be redirecting you to, that is not sign-in page, it's a captive portal. So they'll be redirecting you to the captive portal where your firewall monitors, and finally, we create a specific user account which expires within the time frame, and then those users are allowed to log in. That's how you are getting the internet access. For connecting to my network, you don't need to authenticate. I will be open always. But here they have given authentication, that is also possible. But if we give authentication also, it's of no use. Everyone will share the password. Right? Yes or no? So captive portal comes into the action, and through captive portal, I create a single sign-on in my server with which it will be used for you to authenticate and log into my network for accessing internetwork. Right? Good. So, but the problem is, yesterday when I noticed, even you might have noticed, in captive portal, if you look at it, is it going in a secured connection? Is it going in a secured connection or insecured connection?
The password is in plain text. If you intercept the request.
Yes, it's when you intercept it, it's a plain text. When you intercept it, it's a plain text. Literally, I'll just to show you. This is what happened yesterday. Then I'll tell you why you can't breach into this. I'll show you the same thing. I'll tell you what is the reason why you can't tap the other one's traffic. Okay, this is the traffic which I captured yesterday. Okay. So I am just filtering all the packets which is going to my router. I am just filtering all the packets. I didn't sign in. Before signing in, I just started my Wireshark, start capturing the inflow of my system. So now what happens, if you look at here, ip.addr equal to, this is my filter I am going to apply, and I gave the IP address of my router, my gateway, right? So finally I got all these packets. So now, whenever you log in, when you look at this, it is going to some subnetwork, right? Subdomain, right? So, which is a protonnetworks.com PHC. PHC is my subdomain dot something is given, and it is reaching there, and it goes completely in an insecure fashion, right? So now what I am going to do is, whenever you submit something, what happens indirectly? You have, okay, let me name that particular, okay, let me name that particular URL as my destination. So this is my client. What I am doing, I am sending a request, and for that I am getting a response, right? What is my request and what is my response? Hey, what is my request, what is my response? It's basically a form, right? See, if you look at here, it's basically, it contains a form, that's it. What are the fields available in that form? Yes, it just has a credential, it just have a cred, right? So, uname and password. So, how many HTTP request methods are there? Post, get, okay. So, universally, these two are widely used, right? So, now, let me filter it. So now I filtered the traffic which is hitting my gateway, and I'm just going to check for HTTP request method equal to get. Okay, sorry, it's case sensitive. Get. Right? So I got filtered with all the requests which is having a get parameter in the request. Yes or no? Perfect. Okay. So now, so how you get this particular thing? You are authorized. How you are getting this particular screen? That you are authorized. Because you got the see, okay. So whenever you use a HTTP, okay, you send a request. If the request gets served, the connection gets discarded. Right? That's how it works. Whenever you are sending a request, you get the response, and each and every response in this particular HTTP protocol has its own code. Right? So it has for both who is requesting and who is responding. Right? Once the request gets served, what is the status code for it? Once a request gets served, what is the status code for it? Perfect. It's a 200. Okay. Have you? Okay. I'll just show you. You are having. You can able to see here, right? 200. Okay. So what exactly it means? Whatever the request which you send, it got served, right? So now, if I want to filter it out, HTTP status code. Okay, it's not status. Is there anything? Okay, response code. So if I make my HTTP response code, you can able to see all the response code which got satisfied. So now the thing is, my query is whatever the request which I initiated, it got served. Now what I want to tap is, I want to tap what are the data which got exchanged with the server, which means once, wait, is it not visible? Is it visible or not? I can use a magnifier. If I use a magnifier, I will feel, right? So now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to filter out that particular request method, right? So request dot method equal to post. Okay, so there is one method which is completely hitting my particular URL. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to expand it. So if you expand it, it has a packet information from your different OSI reference layers, right? It has information related to your data link layer. That's what you are able to see the particular frame, right? So if it has a frame information, obviously you have the particular Wireshark is looking into the information from your MAC, right? MAC, Ethernet, layer 3, layer 4. Yes or no? Yes or no? This is your TCP. It operates in which layer? It operates in which layer? Layer 4, right? IP, layer 3, right? So now, if I expand this, right, you can able to see my MAC as well as my router. Both the MAC you can able to see. What's the source MAC and what's the destination MAC. And now if I expand the internet protocol, you can able to see the source and destination IP address, right? And now if I, okay, just a minute. You can able to see, okay, and if I expand still the transport layer, you can able to see the flag information of my protocol. So if you look at the flag information, okay, if you look at the flag information, it has a different set of flags related to TCP, but the packet which I am investigating is completely on HTTP. How?
It's on different layers.
Come on, man. Obviously, it will be on different layer, right? So, see, understand my question very clearly. Which protocol I am investigating? HTTP. What are the flags displayed? It corresponds to TCP. How HTTP and TCP is related? That's the question. Any answer? Okay, HTTP is a connection oriented or connectionless? Okay. You send a client server, sends a request, response, connection over. Then it's a connection oriented or connectionless? It's a stateless. It's stateless. There is a difference. There is a difference. Whatever you are saying is a stateless. You are searching and seeing. Good. Right? Stateless, okay. But I didn't convey any word related to connectionless. Stateless is different and connectionless is different. When you take or when you talk about HTTP, HTTP is a long running TCP protocol. Always remember this. HTTP is a long running TCP protocol. That's the reason you can able to see the same flag of what TCP is having, right? So now you can able to see the flag information, and now let me go for HTTP, right? Right? So HTTP contains all the information related to the URL what I have hit. Wherever I just hit, all the information were available on HTTP, right? So now let us dissect the form which I have submitted. If I dissect the form which I have submitted, you can able to see the form items here directly. Is that clear? Is that clear? I submitted a form by post request. This is the where it happened. Post request. So this completely goes in post request, and whenever I submit, these fields are there, right? So totally 3 fields. What are those 3 fields? 2 text field and 1 button. So the 2 text fields are here and button, and the service name it's given. I intercepted the traffic and I am showing you. So now the question is, okay, you can ask me a question. Okay, sir, then why I can't touch the others login? Yes or no, right? There should be something has to be as a defensive measure. If we downgrade the security of what captive portal has, right? If I can also make the same captive portal to operate in HTTPS, right? We are doing the same in VIT-AP. In VIT-AP, there will be a padlock icon. Everything goes with DNSSEC. It verifies each and every time whether the particular client is connecting to only the authenticated DNS server, and the query resolves there, right? We use Cisco Umbrella, and we have our own internal DNS configured with FortiGate. It completely goes with padlock icon. It's completely secured. Goes in complete HTTPS, right? But here There also we implies the same rule. Here also we implies the same rule. Why I couldn't able to do that? If you run Wireshark, you cannot capture the next mission's traffic. Why? What's the reason? I'm talking about only the network design of VIT. I'm not talking about the generic design. Because secure network system design varies from one particular organization to other organization. It completely depends on the scope, and it completely depends on the architecture who is architecting the particular secure network system design. Right? What is the reason? Any guess? Okay, you are within the network. Listen, I'll still simplify my query. You are within the network, you are in a LAN, right? I want to know how many systems are active in this particular network. I am also in the same network. How it is possible for me to understand? Hey, how can you ping, how? Is my question clear to all? Just think. No idea? I want to check what are the missions up and what are the missions down. That's it. How it is possible? How you will know the IP address? You are just connected.
You can either use ARP, the address resolution,
Yes, you can. Perfect. You want to say something else?
or you can do ping sweep.
Ping sweep also does the same. Okay. Very perfect answer. You can touch a particular protocol called ARP. It always broadcasts. It always does the broadcast. I'll show you how it works. I'll go for a live things. Okay. Okay. Since it's on. Okay, so this is my whole transfer. It's going on. Wonderful. So why a lot of UDP packets? Hey, why a lot of UDP packets? It's just a generic question. It's not related to the previous question which I asked. Yes, it's streaming. Perfect. It's because of streaming we are having a lot of UDP packets. And again, if you look at the ARP, you can able to tap all the missions which is in the broadcast. There were announcement, right? And you can able to see all the traffic which is going on. Yes or no? Yes or no? How you can able to see there is a broadcast going? Because there is a broadcast happening and each and every device is saying that I am live, I am live, I am live, and I am capturing and I am just using a tool and I am just displaying you. Indirectly back end all this process were going and my NIC is taking care of that. Right? Now the question is, if I open a web server here, okay, basically even if we all are in same network. Please listen carefully, we all are in same network, same subnet. Let us assume, what is my IP? Okay, so we are in 224.1, right? I hope everyone is there in 224.1. 224 dot something star, right? In host part, you will have a different IP address. Got it? So now the question is, if I open a web server, let us assume a XAMPP, will you be in a position to access it? But in VIT AP network, you cannot do it. Even in VIT also. What is the reason? You got my question? What I am trying to say? How many of you don't understand my question? Please raise your hand. 1, 2. Rest of you got it? Okay, let us assume I am just turning on my XAMPP server. I hope everyone aware of XAMPP, right? I am just turning on my XAMPP server. My XAMPP points to my localhost. Now, if I am either I can access using 127 or else I can access it using How many of you agree with me? Either I can access the XAMPP home page in here or here. Yes or no? Is it clear to all? So now I am just giving you this IP address to everyone. You are in same network. Will you be in a position to access it? You turn on your mobile hotspot. You turn on your mobile hotspot. Listen carefully. You turn on your mobile hotspot, launch a XAMPP, give the IP address, ask your friends to connect to the same hotspot, try to access it. You can access it. 100% you can access it. But in VIT, have you do it? Did you try it? You cannot. You cannot. What's the reason? What is the rule or what is the mechanism behind it? No. How many access control you will write for that? Okay, let us assume if you are writing access control, it should be a range of IP address, right? So how many times? Okay, let us assume now we are having 30,000 capacity. 10 years after 60, 1 lakh. How many access control you will write? Then what is the other way to restrict? Access control is a perfect answer, but access control in terms of what, you have to be very specific. Because you want to give a try or shall I tell the answer? Yes.
You can write firewall rules to drop certain.
That is what access control, man. You write a firewall rule, indirectly it is doing a ACL only. Right? So, indirectly this is what happened when you are using your Defender firewall. Right? So, the question is, how? How will you make sure that the access control gets applied? Does my question is valid? Makes sense? You want to try or shall I tell the answer? Anyone? Shall I? We completely operate on different VLAN. Right? So, students operate on different VLAN, academic block operates on different VLAN, hostel operates on different VLAN, and third party guest users operate on different VLAN. Guest house, other operational service like canteen, those operates on different VLAN. You got the point? So, each VLAN has its own ACLs. Each VLAN has its own ACLs and the rules, right? So, the first rule is ARP broadcast is restricted. ARP is just for you to resolve your MAC and IP binding, that's it. Just it resolves your IP to MAC or vice versa. That binding is only considered and that is going to be on high. Rest of the other things, it's not possible. If you allow it 100%, let us assume, if you don't restrict it, right? If you don't, listen carefully, if you don't restrict it, 100% I can tell you there is a chance for an insider attack. If you restrict these things, insider attack is not possible. I am not saying impossible, not possible via hopping. I can tell you that strongly. You got the point, what I am trying to convey, right? Hey, this is really one of the best practice I am talking about, right? So, and again, I'll explain you the architecture of how our secure network system design goes, right? So, it starts with internet, right? So, then we have core switch, then we have firewall, and then we have distribution switch, and for each academic block this distribution switch gets applied. And then each floor, and sometimes if the machines are high, each room has edge switch. This is how the architecture goes. In your university or in your college, it will be differing, right? And again, in our university, the firewall what I am talking, right? So this is going to be on the main data center, and when it comes for a hostel block, there is one more firewall, and this too operates in HA. HA stands for high availability, where two firewall interoperates, right? So the concept is called as high availability. This operates with FortiGate, this operates with Sophos. That's the reason most of the time in your academic block, you might also have faced the same issue. In hostel, there won't be any restriction, but in your academic block, there will be a lot of restriction. That's the reason. The same thing you can manage with single firewall also, but it requires additional thing. And deploying two firewall, it's a very costly solution. Deploying two firewall is a very costly solution, because hardly you have to spend for every 3 years with AMC 1.75 CR nearly, with which a small business cannot take up, or with which a small college or small organization will not be in a position to take up. Now you got it, how the architecture of a secure network system design goes, right? So again I can tell you how ARP works also. Again it will go for another 30 minutes. So let me focus on, rather than networking, I will focus on security part. So let me close my magnifier. Okay. Oh. You want me to go in full screen? Okay. Right? Okay. So I have one more question for you, because this is just for make you comfortable. And so now what is the answer for this question?
Sir, do you want to communicate with it publicly or privately? Depends on how. If it's privately, you open SSH or telnet, whatever remote protocol you want to do.
Okay. This is a remote server, not within your network, right? So if it is derived within your subnet or in public, both are same, right? The processes both are same. Telnet can operate for public also, but only thing is why you won't use telnet is plain text. What is the solution for this? Hey, just be a quick man. So this is a very simple question, and hey, don't search it in Google and answer. That is a very awkward. Rather than doing that, you can say, I don't know. That will increase your learning curve. Don't search and answer. You will forget the things. Okay. So let us be genuine, because here I am there to share my knowledge. I am not going to lecture you anything. Come on. Huh? Very, very, very simple question. Why I need a VPN and all these things? Go with the standard, old man. VPN and all these things are a bit costly solution. Okay, so VPN is a bit costly solution, because if you are using a VPN, either even if you go with the open VPN, I need a public server, and the public server has to get connected with any of my SOC open proxy, and through that again I have to have one application software. On top of it, I have to connect it. Why? Again, indirectly also, it uses only the same protocol. The protocol is going to be same, right? Even if you are using VPN, the protocol is same. I am asking about how you are going to connect it. That's a very, very, very simple question. Perfect. Okay, you can use number one, but not advisable, because everything goes in a plane. Number two, SSH. Perfect. Number three, this is for CLI. What I want to do a configuration like a Windows machine. Windows machine, you can't all the time you can't go in command line, right? Command line is tedious.
RDP.
Perfect. You go with RDP, remote desktop protocol. Perfect. You answered. Okay. You have a remote server and you want to restart it. SSH reboot. Okay. I have a Linux. Listen carefully. Listen carefully, listen carefully, listen carefully. Hope you all studied OS. Perfect. Okay. So, reboot, restart is no longer exist. But still, the updated package on my CLI wants me to restart my mission. But restart and reboot is not working, no longer exist. You got the point? How will you restart it?
You can refresh other kernel modules.
What it is? Refreshing means what? Kernel is a big one, man. You are talking about a very big picture. How? That is what I am asking. If you are talking about kernel, how, what module you will trigger? That is what the question is. Mod probe is different. Mod probe is different. You usually use your aircrack NG frequently with your external Wi-Fi card. Mod probe is you can't use mod probe. Huh? System D.
To restart your
System D also again relies on this two only. You understand my question? How many of you don't get my question? Please raise your hand. No idea? Okay, which means everyone is clear about the question, right? So I have a mission which runs only on CLI. In that CLI, restart and restart is not available. But when I install some update and the update needs a restart procedure. Now I need to restart it. How can I do it? Assume it's a hardened Linux, man. Linux SE. Linux SE without, it's not a Linux. It's a Linux SE. Hardened operating system. Hope all of you studied operating system, right? You know the answer. What is the ring level? What is ring level? What is a kernel?
kernel is the heart of the operating system, which is ring 0.
Then ring 1. Okay, what is the level of rings? You are near, you are right, perfect. I am happy. You are near, you are right, man, come on. So what is the level? That is each and every level, ring 0 corresponds to what? That ring level will corresponds to some sort of, okay. Have you heard about this? init level? Huh? Have you heard about init level? Init 0. That is what mod probe indirectly calls, right? So if reboot or restart is unavailable, you go with init level. You got the point what I am saying? There are init level from 0 to 6 for GUI, for restart, for reboot, shutdown. Each and every init level you should know. Got it? All the time it won't be a Windows operating system. Click, start, go to, shutdown, icon is missing. Write a mail to network administrator. My icon is missing in my computer. Right? He will write, why we recruit you as a software developer. My computer monitor is not proper, so I couldn't able to work. What is there with monitor to work? Because these things I faced. Right? Okay, perfect. So, what is the init level for? Okay, since you don't know what is mean by init level, init 0 corresponds to shutdown. Init 6 corresponds to restart or reboot. Okay. Hope you got it. Is that clear? It's up to you. Add your food. Yes or no? Okay. Next question. What's the answer for this? Yes, perfect. Whatever it is, it's a DNS, right? So now the answer for this question is DNS. Either it's a IP or it's a domain or subdomain. How your DNS works? How your DNS works? In your textbook and when your professor is lecturing you, right? So they represent the same picture, right? So they'll say your PC. Yes, it's perfect. It's your PC. And then first, whenever there is a request, what happens? Can you illustrate? How many of you are aware of DNS? I hope everyone. Perfect. What's the role of a DNS? It's a
So, it will tell you the IP of the URL.
okay. In layman, it's a internet directory. Do you agree? Do you agree? It's an internet directory which has IP and corresponding domain name. Whenever you query for the domain, it resolves the IP address and because computer knows only the IP, right? It does not know whatever xyz.com. Now how it works? How it works?
Starts on the right side. So if it is a com website, it goes to the server in
Good try. Yep.
It will first check your cache whether you've already visited the website.
Okay. Cache. Okay. If it is not in cache, then it will check for your local file. There is a local file inclusion of your DNS. It resolves there. That is called as a host file. That is called as a host file. That's where it gets resolved. Still, the data is not present in your host file. Then, huh? Ask whom? Ask next guy. Hey, where it is? Then? No, local, that is what the host contains reference to both. If it is not there, directly don't go to root DNS. It will go to,
It will first go to your router, it will ask your router.
hey, everything goes with the DNS will, okay, let me, okay. So then it will check for your name server. This is going to be your local or your resolving name server. Still it's not present. Then it's not still not there. Then where it will go? Resolve. See, my local cache does not have. Okay, so I flushed my cache. How to flush the cache? How to flush your DNS cache? Okay, so the commandlet. Okay, the commandlet is this is the commandlet, right? So for flushing your DNS, which is on your cache, you can use flush DNS. Okay, I flushed my DNS. Now there is nothing there in my cache. Then no idea. Then it has to check for your host file, right? So where your host file gets located? /etc/host, right? Perfect. In Windows. It resides here. It will be available on your Windows System 32 drivers etc. Okay. Okay, let me come to that point. So let me first clear here, right? So once there is no availability in cache, there is no entry in cache, then it resolves in my host file. Host file also don't have any entry. Then it comes to my resolving name server or to my local name server. Then still there is no entry. Then where it goes? It goes to my root name server. Still there is no entry. Then it goes to my TLD, top level domain. What is top level domain? Whatever you are answering is perfect, man. So top level domain, what it is? That's the question. What is a top level domain?
The last part, whether it's a com net or
Exactly. So in a URL, if you take a URL, if you take a URL, listen. If you take a URL, so www, it's a protocol. Then your identifier, host identifier. Dot is your TLD. After dot, that is called as a TLD. Dot in, com, net, XYZ, whatever it is. Even now the conventional goes with you can name your TLD in your own name because we have a provision, but only thing is money. If you go for IO, they will ask in lakhs. When you go with very weird name, you can just get 100 rupees because there are a lot of services which can give you a domain name just for 100 rupees, right? So now what happens? So TLD, then it goes to TLD and still TLD is not having any entry. Then what happens? Then it will go to authoritative name server. This is completely by your DNS hosting provider like Namecheap, Cloudflare, AWS, right? So others also. You can go with others also, right? And if it is resolved here or if it is resolved in anyone, then it directly goes to the DNS record and it will ask the IP address. Then the web server starts giving you all the detail to the client. That's how it works, right? But indirectly, this is how it works. Indirectly, this is how it works. First, what happens? Your client requests for mypage.com. Now, what happens? Local cache. Now, what I did a flush DNS for every 20 seconds. There is no entry in my cache. Then the request again comes back that I don't have an entry in my cache. Then it will check for the host file. Host file does not have any entry. Then again it comes to my root name server, still no entry. Then TLD, no entry. Again finally it gets resolved, or still if it is not resolved in authoritative name server, directly it will reply me with this particular domain does not exist. Or if it is resolved in any of the phase here, then the query will go to the actual real server where you have a web content. This mypage.com gets hosted, it goes to that particular IP, gets resolved and gets served. This is how it works, right? Host file, if where it is located, it's located here. This is how it looks like in Windows, right? So now I want to ask you a few more questions. So vit.ac.in. What? No response from my server. Still there is no response from my server. Why? That is what I am checking, man. So internet is connected. But why I couldn't able to resolve it? Okay, I'll go with the mobile hotspot. Let me give you a clarification. Just go and check in your mobile hotspot or go to hostel, get connected and check. Whenever you got it right, always you will get a reply here from non-authoritative server. Have you ever noticed it? Have you ever noticed that? Whenever you do a... No, I'm asking you only, Arun bro. Okay. So whenever you query for a particular IP address for lookup, you always get a reply from non-authoritative server only. Why? What is the reason? Why it has always been a non-authoritative? What's the reason? Because when you are behind the bar of firewall, always the DNS and the hooks will be taken care by your firewall. That will be taken care completely by your firewall. You can have your secondary DNS. You can have your secondary DNS and that secondary DNS will be working if the primary DNS goes down. 100% primary DNS won't go down unless someone turns off the firewall or someone shuts the service down. That's the main reason, right? So 100% most of the time you will get reply from non-authoritative servers only, right? Because it gets resolved from your local or resolving name server. Your resolving or local name server will be from your firewall or from any of your, most of the time it will be from firewall only, or if you are under any server or server control, from there, most of the time, right? That's how it works. So, hey kids, listen, whatever I am showing you is a real time. I am not showing anything because this was my experimentation. I am throwing you with a real time use case. This is not some screenshot which I taken from internet. This is my name. Okay, yeah, this is the Zoom ID. You can use the Zoom ID to log in and see my screencast. Okay, let's come to the point. Resume back. Come on, cheer up. What would be the probable solution for this? Hey, you got the thing? See, whenever you do a SSH for a server which you are connecting for the first time, what it will ask? It will ask you for fingerprinting. It will ask you for your fingerprinting, which means next time the server will understand you easily, and it has some fingerprint stored on a particular file. Sometimes the attacker can modify it and he pretend to be the, if he steals the fingerprint, he pretend that he is operating from your machine. 100% chances are there, because whatever the writes happening, it's by the some tool. CMD is doing it, it's by something. Some tool is doing, right? Then it means it is going to sit on your hard disk only. If your machine is compromised, if the attacker has access to your user account, then boom, it's gone. It's gone really, because I'll show you why I am taking this as a serious. One minute. These many remote servers of my clients I am handling. Everyone is up. Huh? These many servers I am handling. Okay. So now what happens if anything goes wrong? So what it is saying? Someone is eavesdropping, man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack, it's a bit serious. Whatever the transaction if you are doing, everything is visible to the middleman. What could be the possible solution for this? It can happen. Stop. Okay, so listen. So listen. Whenever there is a write happening, right? So it will be on a particular default folder. This is the default folder. Okay. So it will be most of the time will be on known host. So what you can do is, I'm talking about the security mechanism, right? So if you feel that you haven't changed any of the key, and if you suspect that any of the third process is trying to access it, either you can put it in a controlled folder, you can add control folder to this particular folder, or you can change this default location, or else you can delete all the entry corresponds to this particular domain, and then you can, if you feel that this is by mistake, and if you are 100% sure that you are having antivirus, EDR and everything enabled on your system, and still it throws that particular error, you can delete the entry of this particular domain in your known host file. By default, it will be on this particular location on your Windows, right? Or else, if you suspect any of the third party is accessing it, after deletion, you regenerate the new fingerprint and make sure this known host is under controlled folder. How to add a folder under controlled folder? How many of you know there is an option called controlled folder available on your Windows machine? No idea? Why are you laughing, Amma? No, you are not laughing. Then? Oh, okay, good. Okay, so there is a particular option all your Windows operating system called control folder access. After Windows 10, they added a prompt feature called control folder access. How many of you utilized it? Please raise your hand. Today only you are hearing it. Okay. So, there is a folder called control folder access. So, how it works, you know? How it works? Control folder access. Huh? Okay, since it's controlled by my antivirus, it's not allowing me. But did anyone got control folder access in your machine? So there is an option for include and exclude the folders. By default, there will not be any folder added. You can add, include, or you can include, or you can exclude. Do you have an option for it? Oh, you are using Linux. Okay. There are a lot of decoy folders options available in Linux. You can use it, right? It acts as a honey folder. The same thing here in Windows. You got it? How many of you are able to access it? Control folder access. Perfect. You can add, right? You can include a folder. You can add under that folder, no untrusted party can touch it. Only it will be initiated from your user allowed programs. You can add this folder. You got control folder access, right? Okay. So now I'll show you one more thing. Okay, so there is one more by default protection available on your Windows operating system. Ransomware protection. Indirectly, it interdepends on your control folder access only. It indirectly interdepends on your control folder access, CFA, right? Perfect. So now let us see our second use case. This is basically for awareness. I'll just hide it. Okay. Okay, just see the video. Listen, it's just about a video. Okay, listen. So what happened? Actually, a mom and daughter is having a video call, and a daughter is asking for money. She is about to transfer. When she opened the door, the daughter was there. Now, wait. Now she is saying that you did a video call and you asked for money. When she goes and looks at the screen, actually, it's on a live call. It's on a live call, right? So you might have heard about this particular tech stack long back, right? So what's the technology name? Yes, it's obviously a deepfake, right? So the evolution of a deepfake, okay, previously deepfakes, okay, so you can easily identify that these are all deepfake generated videos. But the present scenario was not like that. The present scenario goes more accurate and live deepfakes, which you cannot say that it's a deepfake video. Did you look at the quality of the video? Did you look at the quality of a video? How someone can intercept a different pipeline of a application? Huh? You got the point what I'm saying? What I'm asking you? Because when the application is using a camera, because camera is a hardware, how someone can intercept and how he can redirect to a regenerated or replayed video. Because replayed video in the sense when you are deepfaking something, someone has to mimic or someone has to record. Since it goes in a live video call, someone has to mimic or something, right? How it is possible? Huh? Any idea? Any idea on it? So, I'll tell you one of the use case. Okay, so this is something for awareness. Okay, don't ever do it or don't ever try it, right? I'm going to demonstrate just for only for educational purpose. Okay, so I'll demonstrate the old version, 5 years back deepfake, and I'll be demonstrating you the current deepfake. Okay, so two things I'm going to do, and not only this. Okay, not only this. Listen. Not only this. You can deepfake anything, a voice. You can deepfake a voice, right? You have my mobile. So you might have noticed Modi ji singing different songs. Okay, so what it means exactly? How it is possible, man? Modi ji to sing a different song. He is our PM. He has lot of work to do. Why he needs to sing a song? Have you heard about SPB? SP Balasubramanian. Who is he? Huh? Who he is? He's a playback singer, a nice human, right? So whenever, you know Rajinikanth? Who is Rajinikanth? So I should not ask this question, not like that. Okay, he's one of the famous actor in global cinema, right? So whenever you take a Rajinikanth's movie, the first intro song will be from SPB. For past 3 movies, not possible. The reason is SPB is no more. He passed away 3 years back. Did you saw Jailer? Whose voice is this? It's SPB voice. Okay. So did you watch a movie called Mamannan? So Nenjame, there is one more song called, okay, leave it. Let me go for a Bollywood audience also. Okay. So, Hukum song you know, right? We tried with Shah Rukh Khan's voice because Shah Rukh Khan never sing a song. Shah Rukh Khan voice. Okay. So, Shreya Ghosal in Sami Sami. So, it's not only about face, voice. We have a model which can make a photograph to replay as a video with which of any of your voice. Not a live video, it's just a photo. Photo can play as a video which can mimic, which can exhibit the behavior, right? And again, the third one, gait. How I behaves. The same behavior the video can also do. In the previous Chinese video, did you look at the gait? How she talks, the same the avatar is also doing. The gait, writing style, literally a writing style, right? So, I'll show you one more thing. Oh, I forgot to add one screenshot. Okay, let me go live. I thought of showing you. Okay, so yesterday I got a mail from Ashwini sir to Chandramoulishwaran sir. Dr. Sibi has requested the participant list of ACM Winter School. Could you please provide him with the necessary details? Same writing style. Okay, this is the generated one. I received it. Nothing filters me. Okay, nothing filters me. Okay, let me give you. Okay, there is one more mail from Ashwini sir. Okay, this is his email ID. Sir, could you please confirm it's you? ashwiniyes@gmail.com. It's your own email ID. I didn't create any fake, no dot, nothing. It's actually his email ID. Class got cancelled. Do you still want to take the session? No session today. You can go back to your room. While going, take Mr. Arun also, who come along long way for this event. Tell him that I am sending a code which is going to wipe his data out. No, I'm not. Ashwini sir. Okay. So please confirm you by just replying me back with some money. Okay. So this is a weird email, but if you look at this, it's a very well, perfectly crafted email. I'll show you the writing style of how Ashwini sir's email looks like. Yes. Winter school. Yes, this is actual email of him. This is actual email of Ashwini sir. Oh, it's a permanent marker. No. Okay. Thank God. Okay. So this is actual email of Ashwini sir. You got the point? What I'm trying to convey? This is actual email of Ashwini sir, how he writes. The same thing I can able to mimic. I didn't write the mail. I didn't drafted the mail. That is what the highlight is. Okay. So welcome to the world of cybersecurity. Let us resume back after our high tea. Okay. So still we have a lot of things for demonstration and other things. Let us learn together. Thank you. Yeah, sure. You didn't send me, sir. I sent from. No, it's your own email ID only. Okay, other one. Yes, sure. It's your email ID only. ashwinis@gmail.com. Huh? You want to open me with the mail? You didn't send. You can't find it on your dashboards. Signature. I'll show you the URL. Wait, sir. I'll show you from the mobile, sir. No problem.
One more that VIT University. Generally, I will not put VIT University.
Which one, sir?
There was one more email which you have shown.
vat.ac.in.
No. Yeah. I think VIT University. The signature says VIT University.
Okay.
I do not have signature with VIT University.
Okay, thanks for your information. I will remove from next time. So from next time onwards, I will remove that as well. Okay, we'll resume back. Yeah.